Hey everyone, it's Justine the Twilight Stamper, and today we're going to be creating a card for the So Susie Stamps June challenge, which focuses on congratulations. And I made this wedding day card that is super quick and easy to make. I grabbed my two stamps here that I have from So Susie Stamps. One is wedding dress and one is from this day forward, and I took them out of the packaging. I then tried to arrange them on my card exactly how I would put them down. My card panel measures 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches, and that's a black Simon Says stamp cardstock. I'm inking up the wedding dress stamp in Versamark ink, and I'm stamping that towards the top of this card panel. Next, I grabbed a scrap piece of paper, and I'm opening my Ranger Super Fine Embossing Powder in silver and putting that onto my card. Next up, I'm going to heat emboss this using my craft heater. Before I do that, I want to get rid of any excess little pieces of powder that may have gotten on the card by using a paintbrush that is dry. I'm using the Perfect Pearls brush from Ranger. Next, I'm going to heat emboss that, and you'll see the really fantastic change that it makes when the silver melts and turns into a really bright silver color. It's no longer that matte color, and it no longer looks gray. It makes it really easy to know when the embossing is actually finished. I'm going to dump the rest of my embossing powder back in the container. I'm going to ink up the sentiment from this day forward and stamp that in Versamark as well. We're going to emboss this also. I'm going to do the exact same thing by putting embossing powder on it and letting it melt. When that's all finished, you'll see the shine. Next up, I'm going to take a card panel. This card panel measures 4 by 5 1/4 inches, and I'm just going to use my Versamark and ink along the edges as close to the edge as possible, leaving about 1/4 of an inch worth of ink. I ended up leaving quite a bit more, but if you want to be sort of economical with your embossing powder, you'll use a lot less. I'm going to go in with my silver embossing powder and make my own silver paper. I only need the border to be silver because that's all that's going to be showing on the card. So I grabbed a piece of scrap white paper to do this. Again, that measures 5 1/4 by 4. I'm going to use my heating tool, and I'm going to melt the embossing powder on my card panel here that I created. I'm just going to speed up the video here so that it goes faster. Now your embossing paper, or your silver paper that we just embossed, is actually going to match the stamped image that you embossed. Next, I'm going to take my card base. I'm going to use a lot of glue because my paper did warp quite a bit when I was heat embossing it. Normally that doesn't happen, but it did this time. So I'm using a lot of Tombow Mono liquid adhesive, and I'm gluing the card panel that we created with the wedding dress onto the silver paper that we created. I'm holding it down with both hands, and I'm pressing quite firmly to make sure that there are no bubbles. Next, I'm going to take the back of the white panel that we just glued on with our silver paper, and I'm going to glue that down onto the card base. My card base measures 11 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 5 1/2 inches. I still have to fold the card base though in half. Again, pushing really hard and firmly with my hands so that it sticks and there are no warping in the paper. This is creating quite a stunning classic beauty card. This is really easy to make and requires a very little investment. If you already own a heat gun, then it's really easy to make. So that's the end of my card today and my do-it-yourself wedding card. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today and that you'll subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching.